You know what's good? Christmas. Do you know what's even better? Christmas giveaways. Wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a happy advanced 2026. Let's get to it. Welcome back, Audiophiles. It's me, your boy Joe, back again with another video. And this time, this is Christmas special. And you know what's special for Christmas? Christmas giveaways. Yes, that's right. On the account of Christmas and also me reaching 450 subscribers, closing into the 500 first milestone, I'm going to be actually doing a giveaway for this channel. And if you want to see more details of it, do stick around and I'll tell you the details of the giveaway at the end of this video. As for this particular video, we're going to be looking at the KZ Taurus. Now, this KZ Taurus has been graciously given to me by KeepHiFi. A quick disclaimer is that KeepHiFi did sponsor this particular unit and send it over to me for reviewing, but they do not have any say in my reviews whatsoever. They're going to be seeing this video live the same time as you are. Links for the KZ Taurus, if you are interested, down in the comments below. They are affiliated links, of course. So the KZ Taurus is right now available for 24 bucks as of the KeepHiFi website, and if you use the code JOEAudioGear, which I show down below, you could actually get 30% off on top of that and give it at around like 16 bucks or something. With all that said, let's get to it. So unboxing wise, there's honestly nothing in it. It's just literally the IEM put up in there, and then we have the ear tips and we have the cable. Absolutely nothing else. So it's not something that you could expect a super unboxing experience whatsoever. But what I do notice is that we don't have a case, and so that's something to be worrying about. So this makes the KZ Taurus at a solid budget level IEM. It's a dual dynamic driver and it has a impedance of 36 ohms with a sensitivity of 105 dB, which puts this in a good rate. Like, you can run this off of any device. I have also tried this on a phone. Pretty much runs as standard as you expect. We will see more details on the sound in the sound impression section. Let's just take a first look at the IEMs. I picked the white one with mic option, so as you can see in here. So the IEMs are pretty good. It is having a very nice shiny look to it. It has a little vent and it looks a little bit stylish. I don't see any issues with the build quality. It is a plastic build though, so you have that going for it. And it has this kind of metal with a vent in it. I'll show you a close-up of the picture in here. And it has this weird stubby-like thing that you could see in the bottom in there. As with all the usual KZ items, we are having QKZ pins, so we have that going for it. And we have a standard ear hook with a okay-ish cable that comes along with a mic. So as for the mic, I'm going to be giving you a mic sample here.
Hey, this is me testing the audio quality of the mic without any filters. Let me know how it is.
So you could be a judge of that if you're into those mic quality of this as well. So maybe you could get some good calls out of that. And finally, this terminates to a 3.5 mm TRRS style because, of course, we're having the mic version. So looking at the ear hooks, the ear hook is a bit sharp. And when you look at the cable has this whitish look, which I feel it would yellow over time because this kind of material will certainly yellow. Especially in here, you might end up with some oxidization in this corner and also in this part. It might be in the long run, you would probably get a different cable if you're into that. But if you're in the budget, then honestly, why would you go for a different cable for your budget IEMs? Because that's a thing. Nevertheless, they look pretty good. It is nice and stylish for the time being, so I'm not going to be worrying about the yellowing factor in the long run. Anyhow, let me go for the fit test. So fit-wise, it's very snug. The standard ear tips that I have with it is actually really nice. It does give me a good fit. I do not have a chin slider. Very sad. If they at least would have given a chin slider that holds up to here, I would be a little happy. So that's the thing for that. And here's the right side. And here's the left side. So one thing to note is that the ear hooks are a little bit on the aggressive side. I feel like the bottom portion of the ear hook is actually driving into my ear and kind of scratching it. So that's a bit of a problem. But maybe if you were to use some hot water or else, use a heat gun and then just point at it, you could bend it out, but I'm not going to worry about that. Now with the earphones plugged in, it's time to move on to the sound impressions. So let's look at the frequency response graph of the KZ Taurus. As you can see it in here, The bass is at an okay level, which then moves on to a little okay mid, and then immediately scoops back up to a higher vocal range as well as presence and air. Now, this is a gaming oriented IEM per se, so if you're into the first person shooters, then you want to hear footsteps and you want to hear gunshots, so those ones will be in a higher level as compared to all the others. And then you probably a good bass rumble, so you want to hear the explosions and then feel the explosions to a certain extent. I would think that is more of the concern in here. In the case of music, if I want to compare it, then I think that the bass is okay, but then it more focused towards the upper ranges, so it's more focused towards voice plus any of the upper range equipment. When I'm listening to it, I feel like the bass is slightly bleeding over to the mids. It's not the cleanest of bass, but it's an okay level of bass. The mids, okay, I would not say it's bad or anything. The mid soundstage is a little bit wide. I would not call it the widest, but it's certainly not narrow. So it's a good soundstage overall. And then when it comes to the higher ranges, so such as the vocals or something, I feel like the vocal is being a little bit overtaken by the other instruments in this case. So the vocal is not popping vocal, but the vocal along with all the other higher range instruments is all popping together. That is something I would picture the KZ Taurus to be. You would see more when I compare it with the different songs. Overall, my case is that this is more towards gaming. I have tried this on gaming, however. I did play a few games with it. I have played God of War Ragnarok with this connected into it, and I must say it is really good. It is pretty clear. I could hear the 3D effect. I could hear the different sound effects and, the explosions, hits, and whatnot. In that sense, it's pretty nice. And comfort-wise, it's also okay. Once again, except for this little ear hook kind of digging into me. Probably I could get that fixed. But other than that, I really found this interesting and pretty good to listen to when I am gaming with it. But when I'm trying music with it, you would see more in the song impressions, which we're going to be getting to. But overall, this is more gaming focused rather than music focused. So with all that said, let's move on to the set song impressions. Okay, so the first song that we're going to listen to is Strongest by Wroldsen featuring Alan Walker. Now, this is an Alan Walker remix of the original Strongest, which is from Wroldsen again. And I kind of like the remix more than the original at this point because I'm just an Alan Walker fan. Walkers unite. So in this one, there's a very nice bass rhythm to it with female vocal, with Ina, with her singing really good. There's a lot of different instruments that goes around. I feel like the KZ Taurus puts the bass a little bit down. There is an okay bass in here, but the bass is pretty much bleeding in this case, especially for this song. Ina's vocals is actually not popping as high as I would expect it to be. In fact, her voice is being overtaken by several of the instruments such as the hi-hats and the tings and the cymbals. So those ones are going even more beyond her voice. So her voice is feeling submerged compared to the other instruments out there. Soundstage wise is pretty good. Left right is okay, but when you try to pinpoint it, it kind of doesn't add up in that sense, if you get what I mean. And when all the instruments comes in the main drop, you get a little bit of muddle up with all the different instruments when they're playing it. You can't tell each one. It kind of bundles up all together. That is something I would say about the KZ Taurus. So overall, I would say okay performance for the KZ Taurus, but very good song. I will highly recommend the song. And as usual, all the songs that I'm listening to, I'll be going to keep it down in a curated playlist below in the form of an Apple Music playlist. Do check it out so you can listen to the songs that I'm listening to for my review. So the next one that we're going to be looking at is Study Me by Zuto Mayo. Now this one's a very nice one, which is like rock style, J-pop style guitar with a good set of vocals in between. And this one is pretty good. I would actually say that I would give this to the KZ Taurus because in this one, the bass is not that important, albeit the bass punch is not that clear with the KZ Taurus. There is a good set of rumble though. So you feel the rumble, but you don't get the punch, or you don't get that kind of bass slam that you would expect. In the terms of vocals, her vocals in here is pretty good. And with all the other instruments that's coming in, I would say that it's okay to a level. Her vocals is not popping, but it's not getting drowned into it either. I would say it's like somewhere above the level of the seawater, that if you know what I mean. The other instruments are pretty good. It's okay. I would not say that the instruments are the most sharpest of the instruments, but it is appearing in certain places. I can make out to an extent of where the instruments are, but when all the instruments comes together, it gets a slight mix, not to the point that I feel it uncomfortably bad or anything, but it is mixing for my ears at least. As for the higher ranges, I do not feel the higher ranges is actually sharp in this case. It's not hurting me, it's not peaky, it's actually pretty good in the treble region. But in terms of the mids, I feel like the bass is coming a little bit to the mids, so I feel a little bit of a bass bloat coming in there. Overall, I would give this a good presentation, and it does give the vibe. You do tend to rock your head with the rhythm. I did enjoy the song altogether. Really good song. Done okay. In fact, I would say done pretty well with the KZ Taurus. So the last one we're going to look at is Subeme la Radio by Enrique Iglesias, featuring several artists like December Bueno and Zion and Lennox. Now, in this one, I would actually think KZ Taurus is doing good in reggaeton. That's because the reggaeton instruments is having that kind of blend between guitar, the drums, and also male vocals in this case. The drums, albeit the drums slam once again is not that good to what I expect in the KZ Taurus, the rumble is actually pretty good. So in this way, the rumble was okay to the extent that I can feel it, albeit not bass head level guttural rumble that I would want, but rumble which is present and I could feel. And in this case, the male vocals is pretty good. The male vocals are popping, so I could feel the male vocals more in line, and the male vocals is complementing all the different song elements in here. We have guitars, we have good drums, you know, that reggaeton classic reggaeton beat, tung, tung. That's my reggaeton try. And all the different artists in here. Enrique's voice was very clear to me. Zion's voice was very good. Zion's voice is actually kind of a lower voice. Even though it's a lower voice, lower frequency voice, it was picked up very clear for the KZ Taurus. Enrique's voice is a bit on a higher level, but then albeit it's a male voice, and that is also picked up really well. I really liked how the different instruments played out in here. It was good. I would not call this muddled up actually, so it didn't get muddled up so much to the extent that I'm actually perceiving it to be muddled up, but it was good nonetheless. I would put this on the good category overall, albeit the bass slam was not there. So the bass slam went off, and there's still that bass bloat that I'm talking about for all the other songs still present in here. But in terms of enjoyment, reggaeton works pretty well with the KZ Taurus. So overall, really nice song, done pretty good with the KZ Taurus. Okay, so what are my overall impressions on the KZ Taurus? Well, for starters, it's pretty comfy. It was ultra light, so that's where we're going for that. So being in this price bracket of $20, this puts it squarely in line with contenders such as the Tanzu Warner or like the Blondes. And in that case, if I would compare it with them, then the KZ's is pretty good in terms of how you're expecting it in the gaming aspect at least. I haven't tried most of the budget ones to give a solid conclusion on that regard, but in this one, I would still justify it. It would be good when you're playing games with it, but then in terms of musicalities, the bass bleed is there. There is a sense of discrepancies, I could say, but then the high frequencies are okay, but then some things are like whack when the female voice is being overtaken by some of the elements, but the male voice is there. Reggaeton is working well, and classic rock is also working to a good extent. When it comes to the build quality, build is light as you expect. Ear hooks and the cable quality is pretty much what I would expect on the budget end. It is also this kind of like textured style. This is classic KZ style cable, which I come to know and I come to expect on this price range. Couldn't complain much about it because pretty much everything in this budget is having pretty bad cables, to be honest. So what would I tell the KZ on an overall with all of this? Well, as a budget, I would think is pretty good in the gaming aspect. I did enjoy when I was playing games with this thing, but when I am trying to listen to music with this thing, so in terms of a bass hit, it's not going to be giving you the bass slam that you want. It does give you a bit of that bass rumble that is okay to listen to, but it's not going to be giving you the punch, and it's having that little bit of a bloat to the mids. So what would I give this in a rating scale? Well, in terms of gaming, I would say that, okay, this is going to a good 3.5, close to 4-ish%, but then I would still stick to the 3.5. But in terms of musicality, Nah, I would give this something like on a niche scale if you're into the reggaeton part. If you're into the gaming plus music and your music is having, let's say, rock and reggaeton only, and you're okay with a bit of a bass bleed, then you could consider it maybe. And in all that said, for my case, on musicality alone, I would give this something like a 2 out of 5 maybe on that case. The bass beat is certainly something that I don't want when I'm listening to music, and the female vocals is kind of like not popping up the way it's supposed to be. So that's there for it. But in terms of gaming, I would still say it's pretty good in that. So if you're wanting to play something and you want to listen to something which is very comfortable, and it is also pretty much good in terms of spatial awareness and then giving those high frequency like sound effects, different sound effects around you, by all means, I would still go for the KZ Taurus. So that brings me the overall impressions on the KZ Taurus. Now let's get to the good part, which all of you guys have been waiting for, which is the giveaways. So my journey is really wonderful so far. I'm having a lot of fun in whatever I'm doing, and I'm having a lot of support from all of you guys. So there's a lot of likes, there's a lot of comments from each one of you, and there's some people who's also telling me like, okay, hey, do this, do that, so you'll be even more better. So I like to say a huge thanks to each and every one of you, and thank you so much for the support. And for that support, I wanted to give back, and I wanted to try something for celebrating for the Christmas spirit. So that is why I'm going to be looking into giving away one of these. Now, these are budget IEMs that I actually got for the purpose of reviewing. I thought of trying to review these all and thought, okay, let's just go for the Christmas spirit and giving away one of these guys brand new as well. They're totally sealed. So there are two ones which I got from TRN Audio. There's also two IEMs I got from this FC Audio. The TRN Audio is this first one, which is the MT4 Pro. I would show you pictures in here of the IEM, and this one is the TRN ST1. This one is the FC Audio's FCZS1, and then finally this one is the FCFT1. One of you winners will be getting any of these 4 IEMs. You could pick whichever one you want, and I'll be sending you that particular IEM. So to join the giveaway, all you have to do is hit like, subscribe to the channel, and then pass a comment down below, whatever IEM that you probably like out of these ones. And I'll be using a randomizer app to pick out one of you lucky winners, and one of you guys, I would get in touch with you so you could select whichever one you want, and I could send it your way. Since I'm trying this out the first time, I'm thinking of keeping it to India only. So if forever Indian residents, you could be trying this giveaway. And as for my international supporters, thank you very much for the support, and hopefully I'll be also doing a giveaway that I could even send internationally to any one of you guys. At this point, I would also like to give a huge shout out to my friends over at the Indian Audio Community Forum. They are the ones who helped me a lot into getting all these goodies. So do check out in the Discord. There's also going to be a giveaway held in the Discord channel, so do stay tuned for that. So once again, for my giveaway, don't forget about it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and you could be one of the lucky winners that will be receiving these gifts. I will put the results as a post, and I will be letting you guys know about that as well. So once again, thank you so much for all your support, and all the best. And with all that said, I'm Joe, and I would see you in the next review. Peace.